Day 6, 4:50 in the morning. We're going to go a 2-hour ride to Samburu today. It's early.
Up at 5 a.m. on vacation? Oh well. The moon was still out, and trying to watch wildlife under the low light as we raced across Lewa's land was fun. The road to Samburu had been paved since my last trip here. You can see some extreme poverty along these roads. Not that the average person in this area needs much to get by, but it does speak of the importance of community programs and helping people who live around the wonderful animals we want to see. So always make sure that if you support one of the many places that exhibit African animals, that they in turn support conservation projects that help the locals and the wildlife. So we made good time and arrived just as the sun came up. Samburu Reserve is a huge park, and it's always very hot compared to Lewa. It was established as a preserve 25 years ago, and it plays an important role of conservation in the heart of Kenya. We stopped to scan the land, and it wasn't long before we found a Bisa oryx. For oryx, the males and the females will have these sharp horns. Did you see that? Yep, that's right. These guys actually stand up to get their food. They're one of the more famous animals at Samburu, called the Gerenuk. Standing like that allows them to reach areas that other antelopes can't. Gerenuk is an interesting looking animal. These two are sparring to see who's the coolest one around. They're often called the giraffe antelope, and you can see why. This giraffe has no problems reaching those high spots.
Oh yeah, it looks like a scar or something.
Just beyond this termite mound were some Vulturine Guineafowls. They're odd-looking birds. I guess they got that name since they resemble vultures, especially in the head area. As we drove along the croc-infested river, we spotted some tracks, some leopard tracks. We had just missed one. Will I ever see leopard on this trip? Playing in the river were some of Samburu's elephants. They have huge herds here in the reserve. We sat in our jeeps and watched them all hanging out at the old watering hole. The social structure of an elephant herd is very interesting to watch. I think we as humans have so much to learn and appreciate about just how smart and social these elephants and other wildlife are. Giraffes are the tallest land animal in the world, and that tongue can be up to 20 inches long. It seemed everywhere we drove we ran into elephants. It allowed me to get a close look within the somewhat security of the Jeep. I got a lot of footage from my video report I would do later on the ivory trade. The animals seemed to be a little more used to Jeeps at Samburu, so I got close to some animals that seemed to be running away from my cameras this trip. Seeing these two guys get a drink made us thirsty, so we stopped by the beautiful Samburu Lodge. But even at the lodge, you never know what lurks around. And right by our Jeep were some crazy vervet monkeys.
Get a job, monkey. Monkey, get a job.
Like the sign says, you never want to feed wildlife. Well, I guess some animals you have to feed. And speaking of big primates,
So we're trying to have lunch. We're being watched heavily by this baboon troop.
as soon as our Jeep stopped, these baboons came from everywhere. I liked watching them watching us, but we were sure not to feed them. Wild animals need to eat wild food,
They promise to be good.
and if they become reliable on humans for it, they can become a pest really quick, and the sad end result is that they could have to be killed for injuring somebody. So as cute as it may seem, do not feed animals in situations like this. We couldn't stay here forever. We still had lots of Samburu to see, so like this bird, we had to fly.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of Safari Lewa. For information on the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy and ways you can help other wildlife, please read the description of this video. Thanks for watching.